Good evening, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope you're doing right. So we've just done our abnormal barders for the second week of Lunar New Year. We don't know what we're expecting tomorrow for the Force Wipe update, but we're looking forward to it. But we definitely do know is that we're getting the primitive game mode being introduced. And we've basically been aware of this for quite some time now. We, of course, are always keeping an eye on the commits and whatnot. Cool. So there's quite a lot of hype behind this. Hopefully it works out nicely. Hopefully the primitive game mode proves to be interesting enough that people actively still want to keep playing in it. Anyway, with the introduction of this game mode, you're not going to be able to use guns. We are well aware of this. Now, initially, for a while, it looked like we were going to be able to use revolvers and double-barrel shotguns and nail guns. Nope, that has been removed. It's literally just primitive weaponry, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's primitive game mode. But take this into consideration, and I did mention this somewhat recently. As you can see over here, I made a video talking about, well, if we're going to see certain weapons being used a whole lot more, there's more justification in owning skins for them. You can see it in this video here. I also talk about, like, you know, if we're going to have a cooking update, maybe fridges might be used a whole lot more if they will become a necessity. But yeah, so, all right, if bows, crossbows, salvage swords, long swords, and combat knives, if they're going to be used a whole lot more now, does that mean there's going to be a lot of people thinking, you know what, maybe I could go get a very cool looking skin for this. I'm using it a whole lot more now. Makes sense. Well, I thought to myself, why don't I go ahead, take a quick look at the most expensive skins out of all those items, see where they're currently at, and maybe a month later I'll come back to it and see where they are then. Has there been that much change? So, all right. Now, you saw this just a second ago. We've just had post-Christmas. During January, you know, just after Christmas, there's quite a lot of people that will be playing Rust. Quite a lot of people had some Christmas money. They've likely spent it. With a lot of people playing, a lot of money being able to be spent, prices for skins have gone up quite nicely. But now that that's all wrapped up and finished, prices are starting to go down now. But they're still kind of high. So take this into consideration. Whilst a lot of skins right now are fairly high price, they still might be going down. So that also might be a factor as to why these skins might go down in price. Just giving you a bit of heads up based on the current context. So let's get started. I'm on SCMem.app, and right here I have searched for hunting bows. I'm looking at them in the order of price. So the very top three here are the blackout bow, the legacy bow, and the comics bow. And then all along here we've got plenty more. And then you got some of the more recent submissions. Yeah, the older bow skins, funnily enough, a little bit more valuable. Who would have guessed? Anyway, let's talk about these more expensive bows. So the top one, blackout bow, part of the blackout collection. Not too surprised to see that's holding up quite nicely. Like most blackout weapons and, well, skins in general, they are fairly in demand. And this right here, $11.34, yep. And looking at the barders, yep, that's looking pretty good. Now, with the recent sales, what do we see? You can see that's like slowly been going up in price regardless. But from here now, could it go up even higher? We will find out. I'd love to see your comments and what you think. But yeah, surely both skins will be going up, right? Again, this is considerations. This is like theorizing. No guarantees, but it's nice to keep track of everything. So, yep, just to quickly point this out, lowest listing right now is $11.34, but it has been rising up somewhat recently. Back in the summer, over the past year, that was selling for about just a little bit more, probably about $13 there. Yep. So, okay, fair enough. It has been higher within the past year, but will we see it keep climbing up, or will it still keep going down? Because as you can see, as of recent, it peaked around here about 2 or 3 weeks into January. Now it's starting to go down. So, all right, fair enough. That has always been quite a high price, and it's been pretty steady, pretty stable. But yeah, is it going to keep going up, or is it going to just, you know, stagnate? Keep an eye on that. That is a consideration for you if you want to consider buying it. Now, late 2023, during the 10-year anniversary of Rust, Facepunch made the Legacy Bow. That was made by Facepunch themselves. There's no like workshop page you can see for it and whatnot. But that's a very special bow that they made themselves that has like extra mesh, a very unique, interesting design. And ever since it came out, it's just been graciously rising up in price. Now, I believe it has stagnated somewhat recently, so let's just quickly look at the sales. And as you can see, it has been rising. Now it's starting to go back down again. But primitive game mode, if it pops off, if people really do enjoy it, if people actively love it and want to keep going back in there, I mean, do you reckon that potentially will be going up in price even higher? It wouldn't surprise me. Now, it's questionable how many of these actually exist, because, like I said, this was made by Facepunch themselves. There is no workshop page. We don't fully know. But it was available throughout the month of December 2023. So it was in 4 Rust stores, basically. I think quite a lot of them were bought. But with the amount that we see on the Steam market, it doesn't seem too bad. It's not like swamped. Anyway. It's $5.60 at the moment. Could we see some interesting changes? Actually, just to clarify, that's a straggler. It's actually basically $6 at the moment. And with what we've seen recently, it was higher. About a few weeks back, it was selling for about almost $8. All right? So we will see what happens next. But regardless, that looks like it's just slowly going up in price anyway. What price will it be in a year's time? Ooh, feel free to comment below what you think. All right, so, okay, maybe that might be a better thing to consider chasing after compared to the Blackout Bow. Seems like its progress has been quite considerably better compared to the Blackout Bow. What do we have for number 3? It's a comics bow. Now, routinely every single year, around January time, post-Christmas, a lot of the comics weapons kind of go up in price. Notably, the comics AK-47. It's all white, and people appreciate that because they use it with their full whiteout sets and whatnot. A bow? I mean, sure. But that right there is selling at $5.60 at the moment. Clearly there is demand. When you look at the barders to the right, clearly the barders are matching up quite nicely. So, all right, yep, fair enough. And if we just go quickly look at the likes of the, the prices here, yeah, that has had a steady climb over the past few months. Very nice, very cool. Could it go even higher? Well, we'll have to wait and see, yeah. But that is in a very good spot. So, okay, that might be another consideration for you. Comics bow, looking nice. The bows in general, looking pretty good. But as I said, some of the more recent submissions and acceptances with bow skins, they don't really compare. No, but I will point this out. Throughout this past January, as I've been making some sales, I've noticed a lot of bow skins have had their barders increase. Like, it was very noticeable. I have a lot of bow skins. I was like making considerations of sales, and I've actually stepped back from selling them because I can't help but assume we might be seeing something very interesting, aka the point of this video. I kind of get the feeling you might be seeing these going up in price a bit more. So if you were to just quickly look at these based on recent submissions and acceptances, you will see that there's quite a stark difference in terms of, well, there you go, so much negative. Strange, isn't it? But I guess people just prefer the older designs and have done for the past couple years or so. They first became skinnable back in 2019, so yeah, cool. So yeah, bows for your consideration. We'll see what happens next. Let's now talk about crossbows, and it's kind of the same thing as bows. The more recent submissions, the older ones, ooh. So first up, here we have the Gold Spirit crossbow, $26. But it's not the highest price it's ever been. If I could just show you this very quickly, it's actually been a higher price back in early 2021. That's $40 there. Right now, it's currently sitting here at $26. Nice, shiny, interesting. Could it potentially go up even higher? We'll see. All right. Maybe people just not care about the current crossbow and instantly go for the brand new mini four shot crossbow class. A mouthful. We'll see what happens next. But the barders here definitely holding up the price. So just saying, that looks like it's in a pretty good spot. But is it just going to keep going down in price from here and now? Or is it potentially going to go up in price and even higher? Could it match up to its all-time high price of $40? Questionable, but I've brought it up to your attention. So yeah, all right, that's in a pretty interesting spot. Now the second best selling crossbow at the moment is the Lone Wolf crossbow. As I look over to here, $9.46, barders basically $6. But if I could just go to its sales history, what do I see? Wow, oh god, did someone buy out a big chunk of them? Let me just show liquidity as well. It just goes whoosh, but no, it's normal. It's been pretty stable for a very long time. So, all right, fair enough. It is what it is. Slow climber. Could you potentially keep going higher, or will you slow down? Or we shall see. So, okay, there you go. Lone Wolf crossbow. And then we have the Ronin crossbow. $9. Highest barter, $7. Looking pretty interesting. Barter seems to hold it up quite nicely. But what about its sales history over the past year? So, okay. It's actually been dropping off in price over the past year, and only recently has it climbed back up again. So it's definitely had a higher price in the past, but yeah, from December to here, bit of a nice rise. So we'll see what happens next there. Not that many listings as well. Take that into consideration. Okay, so crossbows. Like I said, will the brand new weapon, that is the mini crossbow, be, a whole lot more useful compared to this? But then again, the reload time on that mini crossbow. Right, anyway, swords. Let's now move on to salvage swords. So for quite a long time, Savage Swords, they are actually pretty good at retaining their value. But then we got quite a lot more coming out with interesting transparent designs. But the more recent Salvage Sword skins, and this is very weird, take a look at this. So newest, they're all down in price. Yeah, look at all the newer ones. And then from the older ones, they're all mostly in the positive. So, okay, fair enough. Let's now go ahead and take a look at these based on highest price. And what do we see? 3 interesting looking salvage swords. But this is a perfect example of kind of double check before you make a purchase with some of these skins, because you might assume this is a $20 scrap tooth sword, but it isn't looking like it's actually worth this price. Look at the buy orders. Well, hang on a minute, that doesn't seem right. Now, what's going on here is I have Steam Inventory Helper. It's an extension on Google Chrome. If you want to use it, it's up to you. But anyway, I can see more buy orders. I can see something a little suspicious here. Now, to confirm my suspicions, I look at the sales history, and yeah, what's going on there? That doesn't look like it's actually worth this price. So yeah, scrap tooth. I don't know what's been going on for the past year and a half, but it used to be barely 90 cents. Now you're sitting here and telling me you're $20? No, that looks like a manipulation. That looks like a manipulation for sure. So I'd avoid that one if I were you, just to, keep you safe. Now over to here we have the tempered sword, which has come out quite a fair back time. You're talking about maybe 8 years or so. Yeah, it's been a while. But anyway, this is sitting here at $17. Bars pushing up to $12. Do you see how the bars are a bit more better compared to the other one? Now, if we could go over to here, look at sales history. Oh, hang on a minute. This is also looking suspicious. You've basically just kind of spiked in price and doubled in price there. Now I'm also starting to question you. So I think some people have been making some moves, is the point I'm trying to get across. And they've manipulated the price of some of these older, maybe more interesting sword skins. And yeah, they probably might be trying to get a quick flip on you. And if you don't double check, you might have accidentally bought something that's not actually worth that price. All these barders that you see here most likely are the manipulators as well. So be a bit careful, be a bit cautious, right? Maybe you don't even want to buy that. Go look for another sword skin. There's plenty of options, including the Fallen Knights. Now, if you've been keeping track of the Knights Templar set, what was it? It was Knights Templar, and then Heavy Knight. Those night-themed skins have been going up in price recently because, well, primitive game mode, and as you can see here with the picture, it's 2 knights duking it out. So, yeah, I mean, it's Fallen Knight sword. But is this also manipulated? Let's just go double-check, because those prices kind of drop off very quickly there. Let's go take a look at sales history. Well, seems to have had a funny time in the past, but it did drop off over the past year, and now it looks like it's starting to climb back up again. Then again, could it be a manipulation, or could it just be due to a sheer lack of listings as well? That's another thing to consider. It's up to you, but that's also kind of look a little bit suspicious. But then again, that buyout could have been in the lead up to, primitive game mode. And like I said, those night-themed clothing armor skins, they also got bought out in January. Sorry, I'm talking too quickly. So, all right, fair enough. And then you got something cool that looks like the Fire Slasher. An interesting creative use of transparency. That's a cool looking skin. And I also believe this glows in the dark, if I can just remember. Can we confirm that? It doesn't mention it, so I think I'm wrong there. I believe I'm wrong. If I go to SCM.app, if I stare at it, does it like lighten up? You see how the rainbow sword like kind of glows here? That indicates it's a glowing skin. No, that isn't a glow in the dark skin. All right, fair enough. But yeah, that right there, $8.70, looking pretty cool. Barders, $5. Looking at the barter build up, seems to be a bit more around. Yeah, no, this looks legitimate. And then I look over to here, and yeah, it just suddenly goes up again. I think the salvage swords have been bought out. I think they've all been bought out and been spiking up. Again, genuine interest would lead to more people wanting to buy the skin, so the rise in price isn't too silly. But are they actually going to maintain these prices? Are they actually going to hold? Are they going to climb up even higher? As I said, if the primitive game mode works out nicely. Well, only one has sold in the past day, so be a little bit wary, be a little bit hesitant, all right? So, as I said, there are plenty of other... No, not you, this one, sorry, I clicked the thing there. There are plenty of other options, but yeah, just double check the prices and whatnot. Don't accidentally jump in, buy something that probably isn't actually worth that price. Now, long swords, we have hardly any options. Hardly any options whatsoever, so they're all kind of pricey, but it does get pretty ridiculous when you see the hot-tempered longsword. But this was accepted back in 2016, a long time ago, and yeah, this is actually worth the price here. As you can see, over the past few years, it's basically been maintaining that price. Yep. Wouldn't be surprised that potentially will just remain sticking that with that price for the foreseeable future. Again, with a sheer lack of listings, not too surprising. But yeah, I guess that's just valuable for the sake of being valuable. You know, why is a big grin expensive? People like it. Well, they like that too. So there you go. Wakizashi longsword. Pretty cool. Barders seem to be holding up quite nicely compared to it. Very much so. Much better than those salvage swords. We'll look at the recent sales. So over to here, and what do we see? Yeah, no, it's been quite stable for the past several years. Looking pretty good. Could we start seeing more longsword skins being produced and accepted if we start seeing a lot more knights roaming around and slapping each other? I'd like to see it. I know there was a heavy knights longsword produced. I'd like to see that being resubmitted. That'd be cool. But yeah, that $26 at the moment, or $27 for your consideration, or maybe try and stick with a barder, up to you. And then we have the danger fork. That's no sword. We talked about it. It's powerful. It's a trident. Anyway, barders look a little bit odd here. I scroll down, I take a look at recent sales history, and yeah, look at the random climb. Look at that random climb. Sitting here at about, what, $7? Whoosh! It looks as if it's almost tripled in price. Well, we just looked at those salvage swords a minute ago, didn't we? Things are looking suspicious there. Things are looking a bit suspicious here as well. So I hope I've got the point across. Whilst you may be very interested and want to buy some of these skins, just double check the prices that they're currently at and look at the sales history. Whilst some of it very likely is just people buying out in anticipation of seeing, if there's actual, like, if the hype is real, if the primitive game mode works out nicely, then yeah, sure, those investors made a good move. But some of these might just straight up be manipulations, right? So maybe don't buy the most expensive thing. Maybe look for other options. And like I said, you could go on SCM.app, search for these specific items, weapons, and then yeah, you can see all of them, and then you can sort them with pricing or when were they accepted and whatnot. You get the idea. Cool. Combat knives. We don't actually see combat knife skins anymore, do we? No. So let's go ahead and quickly look at the most expensive one, the Combat Knife from Hell. It is currently sitting here at $21. The highest barter is just under $17. I look at its recent sales history, and what do I see? Well, it's been pretty stable for the past several years. Get a good look at that. Again, with next to no new skins being accepted and nothing to compete with it, it's just going to be fairly stable, and that is looking pretty good. So, all right, maybe that would be a perfectly fine thing to consider buying, because, again, it's just been stable for a very long time. So if everything does work out very nicely, that might go up in price. But if it doesn't, if the primitive game mode doesn't really work out, it'll probably just still be stable regardless. If that sounds interesting to you, give it a good look. Emerald knife, $8 here, $6 here, looks perfectly fine, and it doesn't look like there's anything suspicious going on here. That seems fine. That seems perfectly reasonable. So yeah, combat knives. Will they be used a whole lot more now? Probably. Imagine if you could use akimbo knives. That would be cool. You could put one knife in each hand and come on here. You want to swing that long sword at me? I got two. Oh, I'd like to actually see that now. Well, I guess you'd probably have one skin for both knives, I guess. Anyway. Then we have the fuck knife. Give that a good look. $7 here, $5.60 here. Barter's looking pretty good. And then we look at the actual sales history. And yeah, that's been pretty stable as well. That's been pretty okay. So overall, these weapons, will they justifiably see an increase in their skins if the weapons themselves are being used a whole lot more? We're going to have to wait and see now. So I pretty much will have to come back about a month later, see how everything turned out, and see if these skins have worked out quite nicely. Yeah, I picked out the most expensive ones, but I would have thought initially that maybe they're the go-to options. But some of them definitely look as if they've been manipulated. So maybe they might go even higher because the manipulators make it go even higher. But they have to keep spending money to make that happen. They probably don't want to do that. They might try and cash out during this month. So be wary, all right? Okay. And then, yeah, that's it. That's basically everything. I wonder, from here on now, could we start seeing some more items become skinnable? Shields probably a good shout. So recently we just had the backpacks become skinnable. Maybe the shields. Imagine if you could draw your own insignia on that. If that would be like the egg, the egg suits. You could draw whatever you want on it, and you're gonna probably see some very strange looking drawings and some very questionable things as well. But yeah, maybe they'll make that become skinnable. Everything else is also potentially in the pipeline, but we'll see. But yeah, that would be cool. So all I can sit here and say is I hope you enjoy yourselves. I hope you have fun. Tomorrow, the update comes out. Keep an eye on the Face Punch blog, of course. You know, there's always a new blog post with every brand new update. Big update, I should say. And yeah, that's it. Yes, I'm very well aware that the Steam market is kind of broken. I'm very well aware. And as I said, Heavy Knight. Will the clothing and armor skins work out ever so nicely? There was a lot of hype purchases, a lot of anticipation, but is the actual demand going to be there? Are these skins actively going to get bought during February, or is it all just, like I said, hype? Heavy Knight hoodie, you're a perfect example of this. If we could just quickly go over to here, take a look at your sales history, you can easily see, whoosh, and it goes down. So, hype, anticipation, whoosh, and then it comes down. But will we see it rise back up again during February, or will it just stagnate? Only one way to find out. And then, of course, we have Knights Templar as well. So if I could quickly go up to here, Knights Templar hoodie right there. That went all the way up to like $8 at one point. Now it's sitting here at $4. Still a good price. It's just, you know, I think I'm not sure if we're going to see it go up that much higher, or will we? You know, actually that got very close to $10. It seems. Well, point made. You know, the hype was clearly easy to notice, but was it justified? We'll find out. So yeah, cool. Did you happen to buy any of these Night Clothing Armor skins? Well, feel free to comment below. I'd love to find out. But yeah, I'm in a good spot. I've got some Heavy Knight skins. I didn't sell them during January. I could have, but I thought maybe I'd wait it out and see what happens around February time. I'm curious and I'm interested, and that's why I made this video. Let's see what happens next from here and now. And yeah, that's it. Let's keep an eye out, and best of luck to each and every single one of you. Also, I guess we can question this as well. How many people do you reckon will be turning up for the February Force Wipe weekend? I say weekend because usually on the Friday and the Saturday you get even more people appear compared to on the Thursday. So yeah, will it match up to January? I have doubts. I think at the very least we will go over 200,000, and maybe peak player counts going over 200,000 will become a whole lot more commonplace from here and now. That'd be cool, and that'd be a very nice sign to showcase that Rust is still growing. More people are still playing the game. All right then, that's a wrap. So thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Catch you later. Say goodbye.